remember the first time I was asked to draw a house, a tree, and a person. I was about 8 years old, sitting at a tiny desk, colored pencils in hand, feeling a mix of curiosity and nerves. Maybe this sounds familiar. You draw something simple, thinking it's just a fun activity, but someone tells you it can reveal something deeper about you. Suddenly, a blank piece of paper feels like a mirror to your mind. I didn't know it then, but psychologists have been using this exact exercise for decades to peek into our personalities without us even realizing it. And the insights? Sometimes surprisingly accurate, sometimes unexpected, and always fascinating. The House Tree Person Test, or HTP, is a projective personality assessment. It was first developed by John Buck in 1948 as a way for psychologists to explore a person's inner world through their drawings. The idea is simple. When you draw, your unconscious thoughts, feelings, and conflicts can slip onto the page. Reassuring tone, unlike questionnaires, there are no right or wrong answers, just what comes naturally to you. Psychologists look at your drawings to understand emotional functioning, self-image, and social attitudes. For example, how you draw a house can hint at your sense of security. A tree can reflect personal growth, and a person can reveal self-esteem or relational patterns. HTP is used in clinical, educational, and research settings, often alongside other tools, because it can uncover subtle patterns that standard tests might miss. The HTP test is surprisingly straightforward. You're asked to draw a house, a tree, and a person, usually on separate sheets of paper, using pencils or crayons. Psychologists don't just look at what you draw, they analyze how you draw it. Details like size, placement, level of detail, omissions, and even line pressure can reveal unconscious patterns. For the house, they might notice whether it feels cozy or empty, solid or fragile, clues about family dynamics and feelings of security. For the tree, features like roots, branches, or leaves can indicate self-perception, growth, or personal struggles. And for the person, posture, proportions, and expression can hint at social comfort, confidence, or hidden anxieties. Essentially, the HTP test acts as a window into the subconscious. It's not about artistic skill, it's about the psychological story your hand tells on paper. I remember sitting nervously in a small office, a blank sheet in front of me. The psychologist handed me a pencil and said, "Draw a house, a tree, and a person." I started with the house, small, with uneven windows, because I wanted it to look perfect. But somehow it didn't. Then the tree. I gave it long, twisting branches, not really thinking, just letting my hand move. Finally, the person. A stick figure, but with tiny details. A smile that was maybe too forced, arms that seemed unsure. After I finished, the psychologist didn't say much right away, but later they pointed out patterns in my drawings I hadn't noticed, things about how I saw myself and my world. It felt like my subconscious had quietly spoken through my pencil. In the HTP test, the house often represents family, security, and your sense of home. Psychologists pay attention to size, placement, windows, doors, and details. A large, well-detailed house might suggest confidence and comfort in your environment. A tiny or incomplete house could hint at feelings of insecurity, anxiety, or emotional distance from family. Even small details matter. Closed doors might indicate reluctance to open up to others, while many windows can suggest curiosity or a desire for connection. A house with crooked lines or missing walls may reflect underlying stress or unresolved family conflicts. Placement on the page can also be revealing. Houses drawn at the top of the page may indicate aspiration or optimism, while lower placement might suggest feeling grounded or sometimes overwhelmed. Importantly, the house isn't just a literal structure, it's a symbolic reflection of your internal world and attachment patterns, showing how you relate to safety, belonging, and the people closest to you. In the HTP test, the tree represents the self, your personal growth, stability, and inner life. Psychologists focus on roots, trunk, branches, and leaves to interpret emotional and psychological traits. A tree with strong roots often reflects a sense of stability and connection to one's environment. A thin or absent root system might indicate feelings of insecurity or lack of grounding. The trunk shows strength and resilience. A thick, solid trunk suggests confidence, while a fragile or uneven trunk can point to vulnerability or low self-esteem. Branches and leaves represent aspirations, creativity, and social connections. Branches that reach outward may show ambition or openness, while drooping or sparse branches could hint at withdrawal or stress. Even the tree's overall size and placement matters. A large, flourishing tree can reflect a healthy self-image, while a small, isolated tree might suggest introversion or self-doubt. Ultimately, the tree gives psychologists a glimpse into how you see yourself and your capacity for growth, offering insight into patterns of resilience, self-expression, and emotional health. In the HTP test, the person drawing represents your social self, your self-esteem, and interpersonal attitudes. Psychologists analyze posture, size, proportions, and even facial expressions. A large figure can indicate confidence or a desire to be noticed, while a tiny figure may reflect insecurity or feeling overlooked. Arms and legs are important too. Outstretched arms can show openness, whereas tucked or missing limbs, may suggest withdrawal or anxiety. Facial features give insight into emotional expression. Smiles, frowns, or blank expressions can reveal optimism, sadness, or emotional restraint. Details like fingers, eyes, or clothing can also hint at attention to detail or self-consciousness. Even the figure's placement on the page matters. A centered person often reflects self-assuredness, while figures drawn in corners or edges may suggest social discomfort or isolation. The person drawing is a window into how you see yourself in the world. It taps into personality frameworks like the Big Five traits, highlighting openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism, without ever asking you to fill out a questionnaire. Let's look at a few examples to see the HTP test in action. Imagine a drawing of a small house, a tall tree, and a stick figure tucked into the corner. A psychologist might interpret this as someone who feels insecure at home, has ambitions or personal growth goals, but may be shy or hesitant in social situations. Now picture a house with many windows, a sprawling tree with strong roots, and a confident figure with arms open wide. This combination suggests a person who feels secure, well-grounded, and socially comfortable, someone who expresses themselves freely. Finally, a house with closed doors, a tree with drooping branches, and a figure with minimal detail, might indicate someone who feels isolated or emotionally restricted, possibly struggling with self-esteem or connection. The fascinating part? These patterns often resonate with people, even when they didn't consciously plan them. It's like your subconscious quietly leaves clues about who you are on the page. While the HTP test can be insightful, it's important to remember it's interpretive, not definitive. No drawing can perfectly capture the full complexity of a person's personality. Cultural differences, artistic ability, and age can all influence how someone draws. A child's stick figure might look simple, not because of low self-esteem, but because of their developmental stage. Similarly, someone from a culture with minimal exposure to detailed drawings might produce simpler images. Psychologists also caution against overgeneralizing. Two people may draw similar images for completely different reasons. The HTP should always be used alongside other assessments and professional judgment, not as a standalone diagnosis. Ultimately, it's a tool for exploration, not a crystal ball, offering insights when interpreted carefully and ethically. Even with its limitations, the HTP test remains valuable because it encourages self-reflection. By externalizing thoughts and feelings onto paper, people often notice patterns they hadn't recognized before. It's also a conversation starter in therapy or counseling, helping psychologists gently explore emotions, relationships, and personal growth. For researchers, it provides a window into unconscious processes that standard questionnaires might miss. The real power lies not in labeling someone, but in uncovering insights about how they perceive themselves and the world. When interpreted thoughtfully, the HTP test offers meaningful perspectives on personality, coping, and emotional health. I'll never forget the first time I revisited an old HTP drawing. Looking at that small house, twisting tree, and awkward stick figure, I suddenly noticed patterns in how I viewed myself back then. It wasn't about right or wrong, it was about insight. Seeing it on paper made me reflect on my growth, my fears, and the ways I connect with others. Maybe you'll try it too. Pick up a pencil and draw a house, a tree, and a person. You might discover something surprising about yourself, tucked quietly into lines and shapes you didn't even plan.